Alrighty, we are live. Welcome, 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 dear Starshines, to another edition of the Lunchtime Chats. Good to see you guys. I'll pause here, let everybody get who's going to be here live get on board. I'm a bit behind today. So the kind we have lots to talk about, of course, because we are in this amazing uh, realm of great change and beauty and chaos and everything in between. So I want to, just give you guys a little bit of preview. We're going to be talking about, relationships and what it looks like to be in harmony versus blocks. And right. And there's a lot of transformation on the inside that's been going on for a while, and it's starting to reflect itself on the outside. So I want to talk about that. And then I have a dear sister Starshine, Emmeline, that's in our Rise of the Multidimensional Human group. She has a great question about the multidimensional perceptions of what one calls the higher self. So welcome everybody. For those of you who are new, my name is Christina and I am a consciousness acceleration expert. So we have capacities, we have abilities, we have perceptions. Those of us who resonate with that term, starseed, visionary, new paradigm way shower, we have as a human being capacities and abilities that are not necessarily matched by our larger human family. And and we have very particular things to us that we're in observance of. This is a realm of great change, great transformation, and with that means suffering, it means pain, it means facing fears, it means all these things. And I want to talk about this stuff in a way so I can give you an empowered relationship to this inevitable reality upheaval that's upon us. So welcome, Starshine. Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right. So I finally got sort of outside. I didn't get that microphone, that fuzzy microphone yet for the iPhone, but anyway, I'm out here in the car. It's sunny. I think it's like 65. It's absolutely gorgeous. Maybe not quite 65, but it feels warm because it's been super frigid here. Hello, dear sister Carol. Hello, Callie. Good to see you. Happy to see you too, darling. All right. So we have so many things going down right now. It's exciting. First, I want to, all right, slow down. So this is a time of great change that is upon us, right? Can we all agree? It's massive. It's not just personal change, family change, community change, national change. It's a global change. And there's kind of like this feeling of people kind of like scrambling about trying to catch some footing, because the footing they thought they had, the footing they've existed on for so long, is falling away. And you can look at this as in a few different ways. Some people may really focus in on the kind of suffering that people go through when they have the rug ripped out from under them, right? There's that kind of thing. But then there's also, a understanding that if it continued the way that it was just going to, it was going to be a downward spiral. It was not going to be something that up levels the soul into why they're having the experience here, right? It's not going to up level the ego driver so the soul can be allowed to have their experience. That's the better way of saying it, right? So how people respond when the rug gets pulled out from under them says a lot about them. Right. So some people will laugh, some people will cry, some people will get angry, some people will get violent, some people will start manipulating everything around them, some people will just collapse into themselves. Everybody will have a different kind of response. So it's actually a really good thing to be witness to this shuffle about, because we can maybe see honesty from somebody that we've never really seen their true face before, and now all of a sudden we see who they really are. And maybe that is a beautiful thing, like, wow, I had no idea, and now I see that, and that's freaking amazing. And it can also be the other end of the spectrum. The scrambling about happens, their veneer falls off, and what's underneath that is a total slime ball, right? And it's shocking because maybe, what was on the outside seemed like it was good. So this scrambling about is facilitating opportunities for all of us to wake up to what's actually real, not the illusions, delusions that we bought into or allowed people to paint for us, but what is actually real. So in that way, this crumbling away of foundations and the scrambling and suffering that people are going to, it's serving things in a wonderful, wonderful way. Not that suffering is wonderful. I'm not talking about rejoicing and suffering. No, that's terrible. It's awful that has to be a thing. But at the same time, it is also the nature of this reality right now. People learn through suffering. Very rarely will people learn through joy or pure inspiration of creativity. Some do, but that is not the majority. The majority of us learn through suffering. So we all have known that this time of change is coming. And now that we're here, it's really significant for us to find the right relationship to the outer environment, because inside the veils have on so many levels have completely disintegrated those inner veils, and more of our, what one might call higher self, more of our higher consciousness is dropping in more than ever before. Okay. It's dropping in more than ever before. So when the chaos hits, when the scrambling comes, it's like, the name of the game, and it's really hard to do this, but the name of the game for us, starseeds, wayshowers, new paradigm visionaries, the ones that are leading the charge of the change, is the thing for us is to surrender into it. And yeah, I know sometimes most of the time, I give it 50-50. It sucks, but it can be beautiful, but it sucks. Sometimes oops. Time to take my herbs. Sometimes it sucks for a while, then it's beautiful, right? So, it's a mixed bag on that. But that surrendering is exponentially accelerating the downfall of all these inner structures that are not the truth anymore. That rug that gets ripped out from under you reveals things that you never really saw before. So it's like a blind spot, a big one, just all of a sudden gone, and now you have to process, right? So more of yourself is dropping in. The truth matters more than ever, and we have this innate sense inside of us that maybe we didn't notice before. Now, those of us who've stuck our finger in the spiritual lightning socket in the past, and I'll explain that for those of you who are new to the way I talk about things. So in the past, I would go on different trainings, expeditions, stuff like this, and you would get you meet an immortal master or a lineage holder, or we would meet different beings, elevated type beings. They would give a transmission, which is like a spiritual lightning bolt, right? And you would finish your work for them for the week or the month or whatever, and then go back home. And when you go back home, your entire life just falls apart. Every relationship crumbles, or most of them crumble. Maybe finances go bad. Maybe you break up. Maybe, it's like just everything that you thought was so is just gone. It's just completely crumbled. And then there's often a long time of grief. Sometimes years and years and years it takes to recover, right? That's the spiritual lightning socket. Those of us who have been on this path for a while, we've all done it at least, I was going to say once, but I'm like twice or three times or more, because we're hungry for it. We're hungry for something. We don't know why we're hungry for it, and we do everything we can to show up. That is our soul impulses saying yes, 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 right? So that's the part of our ego driver that's aligned with where our soul is impulsing us to go. I laugh, but when you go through it, it really does suck. So I'm not trying to make light of that. It's just that, laughter is a very helpful agent to keep an energy in a particular bandwidth, right? Anyway, so what I'm saying about that is that right now, the entire planet or realm, whichever is more in resonance with you, they're all getting the spiritual lightning socket. And it's not just once or twice, it's over and over and over and over again. And it's fascinating because, I mean, I know how hard it was when I was getting that in the beginning of my path. I can only imagine what it's going to look like when the crackings happen en masse, right? En masse. These crackings are going to happen. And now I'm finally seeing, for the longest time, I thought it was hopeless. No, that's not exactly accurate. For the longest time, I would visit places where I felt it was rather hopeless that this world could change for the good, right? And, or it's like I trusted, but at the same time, a voice in the back of my head was just like, I have no idea how this is going to play out. Like, it's really not looking like it's possible now. But now, here today, watching what's going on, I'm seeing exactly how it's possible, and really how, the game has already been won. The game has already been won. I mean, people talk about spiritual battle. Some say the language good and evil. Others, it's more about autonomy, sovereignty, to be the divine being that you are. I actually see it now, how it's going down. And that is these transmissions. People are getting these transmissions. It totally transforms their inner world, which totally changes all of their relationships to pretty much everything. Their relationship to themselves, their relationships to their beloveds or their kids or their family or their job, like stuff like that. And then the crisis happens, and then they need to successfully navigate birthing who the next version of them is going to be. Right? So if they choose wisely, as in if they choose the truth of what's really happening inside, then they're going to rediscover themselves and make changes and live according to higher values, right? Values that are actually aligned with the truth inside versus the twisted reverse values that we have here in our society. You guys know this. Our society rewards ego driver emptiness, right? It's like, it's all about, the trophy wife, the money, the you know what I mean? All the status. It's like all this stuff. And it's so not even, it is so backwards. Anyway, let me keep going. So the lightning strike is happening. People are changing inside. They literally can sustain the life that they're in and have to change and make changes. And these aren't optional changes. These are mandatory changes. Okay. So as the change starts to sink in and people start behaving differently, then different relationships start to crop up out of that, right? Those of us, you and me, and so many energy workers, starseeds, light workers, shaman from all over the world are constantly cleaning their energy up, are constantly cleaning, healing, relieving, releasing, acknowledging. I mean, they're doing all the beautiful, beautiful work of what it is to be in conjunction with the true self again. And that, for a long time, a lot of people maybe didn't think that was so satisfying, because what they had in their mind that was dominant is these structures. And right now, really, people are super fearing AI right now, which, it's in its infancy. It's totally wild west at the moment. And it's a very powerful tool for it to be in the wild west stage, right? So it can be scary. It doesn't have to be, though. But I'll go down that road maybe a little bit later. So their relationships are changing. And as everything shifts, they start to wake up to other aspects they had no idea were there. And then instantly, from those moments, when you have that moment of realizing parts of you that didn't know were there, and it's very calming, and you like this part and all this stuff, now instantly you've shifted where you're coming from and relate in the world, and it releases these ripple effects, and now you're that much more in your authenticity. And I had a teacher many, many years ago, out of India. And I remember he used to say that authenticity would save the world. If everybody on this planet was simply authentic to themselves, true to their nature, to their heart, to their spirit, if everybody operated true to themselves, there would be no war, there would be no famine, there would be no all the stuff that really brings down consciousness. None of that would exist, because when we are in flow with our true nature, We, as a default, create beauty. We are loving. We are nurturing. We are, you know what I mean? We bring amazing things into this world. It's when we are working against ourselves and are not authentic, that's where the big trouble starts to happen. And there's lack of accountability, lack of integrity, lack of emotional growth, lack of spiritual growth. You know what I mean? There's all this lack, 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 lack. And then, you know, these dark energies come in and start getting animated by your own ego driver, by their, you know, by their ego driver. This is why sometimes people can go really, really dark out of nowhere, right? It's because they are susceptible to these dark forces because of the level at which they deny themselves, right? It's the level at which they deny themselves. Now, and it takes a while to wake up out of this because a lot of us grew up in that energy and we didn't realize that that wasn't normal, you know? Now, I switched families. I switched from living with my mom to living with my dad and his new wife and, well, pretty much new family. And I did not know what toxic was. I didn't know what toxic people were. I didn't know that people could actually just hate me for no reason or have a reason, but I don't know what it is or whatever, that are in close vicinity. So it's like during that time, I was completely blindsided by the reality that I was, you know, it started when I was about 11, you know, blindsided by the reality that there are a lot of people in the house that don't like me and don't want me there. Right. It would be in my dreams. It would be like, I felt so uncomfortable. You know, all sorts of things would come up. And wouldn't you know it, that over time, I just started to accept that. I started to accept that that was a normal feeling. It was normal to feel like, you know, it's that you have to be careful because you kind of, you know, yet walking on eggshells, making sure that you don't rock the boat or, you know, making, you know, just caretaking that whole situation. I thought it was normal. And then, of course, growing up, you know, I just kind of continue that pattern. But now that these lightning strikes are happening and this opening on a big collective level is happening, I'm realizing that, you know, that was a pattern that plagued many, many women in my family going back generations upon generations upon generations. And it's liberating to recognize that because now, as the Palladians recommend, don't take this life personally. Now I can look at those patterns and how I was living and what I was doing and realize I don't actually have to take that personally. I actually had the inner fortitude, the strength of heart to end that pattern, right? All that healing work, all that process ended that pattern with zero regrets, zero guilt. Done. Okay, yep, I see that. I am totally done with that. Right? And everybody in my family, forward and backwards, benefits from those wake up moments. So this is what people are going through. Some have to go through a much bigger tragedy than others, you know, like the folks in North Carolina, the folks in LA. There's also, you know, many folks that are in South America and Central America. There's like mudslides and earthquakes. And I mean, people are losing entire towns, you know, it's like, you know, there's a lot of shifting and changing, and the telluric reality shift that comes with that is profound. I think it's only started to show us really what the telluric shifts look like that are in correlation to the inner shifts that humanity is going through right now. So you know, you guys, we need to start recognizing that the abruptions, the blocks, the counteracting, the helpless feelings, the sabotaging, the feeling sabotaged, all this stuff. This is a reality that we have been conditioned to accept, and then we just think it's normal. Okay. And this is not the truth at all. And I feel like the coming of this big Piscean movement, I don't know if you guys know this, there's like, well, this is a new moon in Pisces right now, but we're about to have like a seven planet lineup all go into the tropical astrological sign. I think it's Pisces. Oh shoot, now I can't remember if she said it was True Sky or Pisces. This is our dear sister Ray Ellen that does the activations. Okay. Anyway, but the fact of the matter is Pisces is an energy pattern. All these planets are going in, so it's expressing itself in some way. And I feel like this piece that I'm talking about is one of the really big pieces that's going to unshackle a lot of you star seeds out there and visionaries, right? Is that, you know, getting sabotaged and screwed over and, you know, looked down upon and treated less than that's not a normal thing. You know, you are not where you belong if you are around people that are like that. And if it's your family that's like that, then this is not the family you should be connecting with. It's kryptonite to your magic. It's kryptonite to your spirit, your heart, your soul. So, and I know there's circumstances, but these lightning bolts are coming. They are shifting things inside without you even doing that much about it right now. So really what is up to actually you, the ego driver of who you think you are, is how you're going to navigate the change, how you're going to navigate the chaos, how are you going to navigate having the carpet ripped out from under you. Right. That is the part that is the effort of you and your ego driver. But the actual shift and change itself, it's just happening. Like the sun rises, right? Like the sun rises. So I feel rejoiceful, you know, I mean, I have stuff in my own life that is kind of crazy, but I feel rejoiceful because this is exactly what we're here for as star seeds, as visionaries, as, you know, way showers. It's like we are here to shine during this time of chaos and change. The effects hits us first. We do the work. We process that. We anchor in more of ourselves. We up level. Let's say we do our work, and now then we hold, because we do it en masse. There's this really solid, stable consciousness grid of what it looks like on the other side of this turmoil, chaos, change, right? And it makes it a soft landing for those that come after. This is how our work is changing. And not only that, we are learning in a very advanced way what true harmonic connections are. And it's not like that wild, crazy love where you're just mad passionate about somebody. No, that's not what it is. It's about the harmonics between you and another person, you and a group of people. What is their harmonics together? Okay. Now you can tell when a relationship is harmonic. It's actually very super easy, and you don't need to believe the person. You don't need to take what they say as gold. It's not about believing the smokescreen. It's not about believing anything that anybody has to say. It's about the actions that happen. It's about the events that occur, right? For example, all right. So the example I have is actually something that happens behind the scenes in Lightbody. So we have an admin team, and I have everybody. We have a mother. she's like our room mother. Her name is Sherry, and in our working relationship, we're very different, but she keeps me organized, and you know she does an amazing job of doing what she does. We have become so harmonized. It's amazing, and it's because we both love and appreciate each other. We both have respect for each other, and we both really want to show up for each other in our positions, but also as being IU mates, community members, sacred community members, right? So we've gotten to this point where, and it's really cool, is that she'll start thinking about something. Oh yeah, I need to bring that up. Oh yeah, we should look at that. Oh yeah, la 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 la, right? And then while she does that, and then maybe in the next hour or whatever, somehow, you know, I start addressing it and making the changes and doing whatever. And then I meet with her, and she's like, and I tell her, and she's like, oh yeah, well, that's exactly what I was hoping you were going to do. Right? That's a harmonic connection. Yes, we're all psychically intuitive. Every human is, right? It's just a matter of recognizing it. So it's not about being psychically intuitive or not. It's about being harmonic. Being harmonic allows you to be open and receptive to other people's perspectives, other people's experiences. You're open and receptive to where they are at. You are open, receptive to what you could be doing. You know what I mean? To bring more connection into the relationship, to foster, nurture the relationship. When we're harmonic with each other, that is how we show up. And we show up naturally that way. It's not a big deal. It's not like you have to stand in the mirror and rehearse what you're going to say or give your affirmations, build yourself up, and now you can face the conversation. It's like, no. you get to get validated through harmonic exchange that you are okay just the way you are. You're perfect just the way you are. Everything that, that's in your heart to express is something that matters, right? So harmony between groups of people and individuals fosters so much nervous system relaxation, at easeness inside of the body. It fosters so much well-being. We truly heal each other by simply just being in conversation or just going into a project together, or solving a problem. It's like when the group is in harmony, it's this beautiful uplifting healing experience, right? Hello, dear sister Ella, good to see you. Oh yeah, yes. So we know how to self-care, and we've had our heart broken before, and not that it makes it any easier, it doesn't. But what I say this for is that we all have strong hearts and spirits, and when we just ride it and stick with it, we just become stronger. We become more loving. We become more solid. We become more trusting of ourselves, not other people necessarily, but of ourselves, right? We settle into ourselves all that much more. Now, not that I ever, heartbreak is a theme in my family for sure, and definitely in some of my closest relationship. Well, not anymore because it's over, but it was for a long, long time. And what I've learned from that is that, I'm very, very, very strong. I've learned how strong I really am, and I would have never noticed it unless I was on this journey, of wholeness from going through all that. But the other thing that happened was that it forced me to reflect a lot. It forced me to go inward. It forced me into where my only, my only reprieve, so to speak, was to clear myself, clear energy, pray, forgive, apply all the things that I know to apply to bring healing, to foster growth, to, what I mean, like this. And for me, it just kind of reached the point where, yes, I'm really potent in that way, but now the crossroads is that there's no more healing to do. There's no more I can do with this particular person on this track. It's like there's nothing more that can be offered. There's no more agreements to play out. And this is a really, really big deal. It's directly connected to that family, that mother thing that I was talking about. Yeah, I've always questioned the partner choices of the women in my family. And now in retrospect, I realize, okay, I think I'm getting it. Yay, I'm getting it. I'm not gonna get completely crushed and heartbroken anymore. Maybe, who knows? But let me go on to our dear sister Starshine Emmeline, because she asked such a great question about the multidimensional perception of the higher self. Now, you guys are familiar with the term higher self, right? The higher self is considered an infinite part of your being that resides in frequency above you, and it doesn't ever necessarily incarnate. And most people talk to their higher selves like it's a separate being, separate from them, okay? Now, in the old paradigm, before these mass spiritual transmissions started happening from the sun and the galactic and all these other places, right? Things were a lot more dense. So when I say things were a lot more dense, is that there were a lot of energetic frequency fences and structures put in place that it limited the quality of our DNA dance. Our DNA is not just this spiral. I mean, a lot of people think of the spiral when I say DNA, but what it is, it's actually spiraled into itself, and it makes kind of like it's like a rope spiraled onto itself, and it makes kind of like a torus shape. DNA is consciousness. So this torus shape, if the spirals are locked up, that's a part of your DNA dance that's not moving. It's not active. It's dormant. It's shut down. Okay. So the more shut down the different aspects of your DNA are, the more shut down you are as a being in a biosuit. So there's only so much we're infinite beings, so it's kind of hard to quantify, right? But we're only so much incarnated. Like there's only like, right? Quantum is outside of measurement. So how do you do this? But I'm just trying to convey this idea here that when your DNA dance was what it was back before you learned all your lessons and before you received all these transmissions for this time of change, you know, your DNA dance was just what it was. And that DNA dance can only accommodate so much of your divine self or, you know, like soul, you can say it like this too. So, and what's been happening decade after decade, it was going much slower, but now it's rapidly speeding up, especially this year, is that these transmissions are coming in from the sun, from the galactic, from the different celestial beings, even our moon. Our moon is pouring data encodements right out of it. Oh my gosh, there's so much liberating life force energy that happened with the moon recently, right? So all of these transmissions are coming in many forms. There's the lightning, and I guess why I'm saying the moon, you need to also understand that transmissions also come in through water, living water. Sacred waters also carries very potent transmissions. So there's the lightning, and then there's the living waters. Okay, so as the transmissions come in the old days, the transmissions would come in and maybe help heal something, right? And then you'd get another one and something else would heal. You get another one and something else would heal. Now, and or something like this, or, you know, that transmission would come in and it would actually come in as a seed that gets planted within your being, that grows into this beautiful, nourishing garden of consciousness, right? So when you have a nourishing garden of consciousness inside of you, that is wisdom, that is love, that is compassion. Those qualities emanate from that consciousness garden, from the seed. So they come in, and if it's healing that's needed, it's healing. If it's activation that's needed, it's activation. If it is planting it is a seed, it plants it as a seed. Now, the thing about activations is that the change has to be sustained. So you get an activation. In the old days, you get an activation, you have a realization, an epiphany, and this, and you're like, wow. And then now you have to go back to your life and make the change. If you don't make the change in your life that you need to, that activation is likely to stop. It's, you know, it's going to close down. It's going to run out of energy. It's going to run out of steam because you're not feeding it. You're not encouraging it. You're not allowing the expression to happen in your life. And you start actively doing things that shut it down. You see what I mean? So now we're in this place currently where there's transmissions galore. People are cracking open from the inside, left, right, and center. They may look like they're hardening, but they are cracking. You know, that's just remember that. The outsides don't necessarily show you what's going on. Anyway. Okay. So say you've had a bunch of activations and you sustained the change, and now your DNA dance is way more free, way more movement. Now, so what's happening now is, I'm saying I know the word now a lot. What's happening now is that that DNA dance is so open and robust. It is actually creating, let's say, like a vacuum, maybe, that to pull more of your divine nature into your body. So what we once considered higher self, a lot of people are waking up and recognizing all of a sudden higher self is actually my inner self, right? That's because they've crossed that threshold where enough of their DNA dance is dancing. They've made the changes in your life. It's integrated. And now they're that beautiful open cup to let more of your divine nature pour into your body and animate your life. And that is what's happening en masse for all of humanity. Now, isn't that special? Isn't that amazing? I think it's amazing. Now, recognize what it is for the battle, right? So all this is pouring in, and it's changing people from the inside, and the thoughts they used to have are kind of not there anymore, or they're starting to change, or the beliefs they really thought were absolutely the truth, you know, they're going to get pushed and they're going to get broken down, right? All these different absolutes about their reality are all of a sudden taken away. And this is where the battle is. They can either surrender into it and let that change take them to where it's going to take them, or they're going to double down and they're going to fight it. And this is where the big danger is. And I'm going to say danger because it's dangerous for the person fighting. It's not danger necessarily to you, but what's been going on in this interdimensional dance is, there's a lot of telluric energies that have been hijacked for power over dynamics. Some people might call it stuff like dark architecture or beast machinery or looshing matrix systems, stuff like this. So all this stuff is getting freed up, but there are a bunch of beings that haven't got the memo yet, or they're just, resisting the memo. They're pretending they didn't get that email, right? That the gig is up. The time is now for the change, and that is going to show up for everybody very individually. But in general, we're going to watch it play out in the circus of our media, which you guys know that, it is a circus. It's such an amazing circus. It is. I haven't been watching lately just because it's actually, let me take that back. The media is so toxic. How I deal with it, if there's something that I want to know, I either want to find like a short 3-minute reel that gives me a little soundbite about it, or I look for a reaction video of somebody who is very different than I am. And that like somehow softens the blow. It softens the intensity, right? Because you have the person doing, whatever the news piece is, and then you have a person reacting, and then you have all these commenters, chiming in live. So it's like when I do it that way, it's like the information's there, but there's all this other ways of relating to the information there at the same time. So it's much easier to pay attention, and it's much easier to engage, right? Because there's so much. It's not about standing, like when you're just watching a CNN thing, or if you're just watching a Fox thing, or whatever those other stations are, right? It's like kind of like it's more intense because it's like this, it's like coming at you. This is this and this is this, because all that programming, right? They're telling you what they want you to think, or what you think they think you should think, like that. And that's not a pleasant thing for a person who's sensitive to energy. It's not really pleasant at all. So I like these reaction videos. And my favorite reaction person right now, I mean, it's likely to change, but right now is a gamer by the name of Osmongold. Now, I mentioned him a couple times already, but I just mentioned it again because that way of taking in information actually makes it very entertaining, because they're gamers. They're like making silly jokes as the consciousness stream gets unfolded, as the press conference gets played, or as the news announcer does their thing, or whatever. It's like they're making all these jabs and jokes while they're watching it. And anyway, so in that way, if I'm entertained and I'm laughing, then I'll be willing to give it my bandwidth. But if I have to like intensely pay attention to whatever, it's like, no, I'm not that committed to understanding what the program is, right? So, all right, a little tangent about the media. The conflicts are rising stronger. The resistance to truth is failing, right? It's big. It's loud, but it's also failing. And I feel like this is a wonderful, wonderful feedback loop that shows us the, we'll say, new paradigm Aquarian principles are very, very strong right now. So Aquarians, they're really into, innovation, truth, stuff like this. It's like authenticity. So that is all getting blasted through our collective grids right now, those energies. And the fight is more in our 4D social media field than it is on the individual field, which is very cool. Now, there's some people that are fighting for whatever, but it's a very personal thing, right? Personal consequences to global change, right? Because we're here to be the change. There you go. Okay, so let me get back to the transmissions piece. So transmissions that come through another person, are often very potent because it's already integrated and grown, right? There's also transmissions from, like I was saying before, the sun, the stars, the galactic, like we have the supernova and Cygnus way back when, not way back when, it was not that long ago actually, but the gamma rays are here. We're all getting gamma rayed right now from that event, and there's others that are like that, right? So we're getting these awakening transmissions all the time, and that is something that is essential, but there's more. So these transmissions come in, and if you're aware of what we perceive as a download, great, then you can use that awareness to consciously feed the download, so your body will digest it, and then it'll result in deeper wisdom and understanding, deeper activation, more of yourself embodied, all those things. And then you have there's other kinds of transmissions too. And I guess what I'm not putting together very well into words is that inquiry about, is it a download? Why do we feel like it's a download? And are all downloads okay? Right. And this is a really great question. And this is why I'm talking about it, because I'm trying to get to it. I'm going to say yes and yes. Yes and yes. And what I mean by that is that this time of change is not just a belief, it's not just a prophecy, it is something that's getting facilitated by the cosmos. It's getting facilitated by what some might say the Most High. There's the cosmos, there's the super clusters of galaxies, then there's the galaxy, then there's the celestial regions within the galaxy. Every single layer of our reality is transmitting to us the frequencies of this change, right? We are enveloped with all of this energy that is stimulating this waking up and this change. So when we see it from that version or that way, it makes sense to say download, right? Some downloads, think of it as your energy system like a digestive tract, right? Some downloads might have some things in it that maybe you're not ready for. Maybe it's not in your soul contract, or maybe, there's some sort of carrier wave that's infiltrated it or something. I've heard of this happening before. Actually, I've seen this happen before. And then, now you receive the transmission. Now what, right? When you don't know what to do, you don't know what you don't know, all these things. And the understanding I want you to have from that is that it doesn't matter, because your energy body digests, right? Just like your digestive tract digests food, your energy field, your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, all these layers of you participate in the digestion of these transmissions. And there is a natural aspect within our own energy field that just takes what works for us and leaves the rest to go, right? Because it's a constant movement thing. Nothing is stagnant. There's no bookshelf to store all these things on. No. Everything is in, like, as a river flows, it just moves. Now you can hold on to things, in which case your subconscious will find a way to store it. You can do that, sure. But the thing here is that, the inside is the outside and the outside is the inside. And we have been trained for so long to make ourselves wrong and to doubt and to reject the reality we see for the given reality that we're told what's actually happening, right? You guys growing up, I'm sure there was some idea mapped out for you what your path should look like for you to be a successful kid growing up into adulthood. You graduate school, maybe you go to school some more, maybe you get married, maybe you have kids, maybe you do this, maybe you do that. Now you're a successful human. Woohoo! Right? So they're celebrating the outer success, but inside you feel like a black hole, right? So these maps that are given to us are not really the truth, true to us. And now we're at this place where we are now being asked to really get clear on what is true to us. What is our desire? What is it that you truly want? Now, for a lot of women, that is the most terrifying question to ever ask, because we don't let ourselves know what we really want. For many of us, I'm sure there's some people on the opposite end of the spectrum of that experience. But in general, if you are, listening and you're an empath or whatever, you're on the nurturing side, you're on the receptive, you know what I mean? You're on this other side where other people's needs and views of you were more important than what you wanted and your own view of yourself. So, excuse me. So, oh shoot, I lost where I was in that transmission thing. See, I went on that side jaunt. All right, it'll come back. The side jaunt. Right, what you truly want. All right, so authenticity. Shoot, I really lost the tangent. Okay. So this change is happening. We get to see people's true faces, true forms when the rug gets pulled out from underneath them, and we get to experience authenticity more and more and more. And as we grow in that, we anchor ourselves more and more and more. We end up feeling more connected and belonging, if only to ourselves. Well, I'm trying to reach for it and it's not going. It's not getting there. Hello, dear Felicia. How you doing? All right. The transmissions were enveloped, the inside outside. That's it. Okay. So the download coming in. And when the download comes in, it's like imagine it like a bird on a great flight, on a great migration. It's like an energy of a bird on a great migration. And that bird might make it all the way home, which means right into your inner cosmic self, right? And other times that bird might land in other places. Regardless of wherever it lands, it's going to bring healing. It's going to bring growth. It's going to bring wisdom and compassion, no matter where that bird lands. When that bird comes in and really touches the inner self, the true self, the cosmic self, the infinite part of your nature, that is where a massive, massive awakening happens, right? Because then, for maybe it's a flash, maybe it's a little bit longer, one has that moment of realization of what it's like to have to know that the inside is the outside and the outside is the inside. And once those epiphanies strike, once that really lands inside of you, every transmission after that is just, cracking it open more and more and more. You are seriously accelerating at a lightning pace at that point. Okay. And the challenge is words, how to deal with words, right? How to deal with words. Oh, it came to me. That's where I was going, right? With words, right? Okay. So we are afraid of transmissions or picking up energy or doing all these things because we are conditioned to think a certain way and be a certain way. And part of that is not being worthy, not being divine, not being ... fill in the blank. And here's the thing, we're infinite beings in a biosuit. The outside is the inside. The cosmos that you look out, all that is on the inside of you. You see what I mean? The outside is the inside. The inside is the outside. You are an all-powerful being masquerading in whoever it is you think you are right now. And this awakening that's upon us is awakening us so quickly and in such a way where we are all going to be forced to step into that power of who we truly are. Some will come kicking and screaming. It'll be a massive journey of suffering. Some will be woohoo, they got their surfboard ready. And other of us, we might be, tentatively, breaking out, right? So it's liberating to recognize that it is all the same. It's liberating to recognize all these experiences we have on this planet, in this realm, you know, all these experiences of these biosuits is all a result of the layering that is put on top of us that buries the true authentic self. It's all layering upon layering upon layering upon layering. And once, as those transmissions come in and meet their mark, that's a level of layer that's not there anymore. And then it meets another mark, and now another layer isn't there anymore. And it meets another mark, and now another layer isn't there anymore. You see what I mean? The change is inevitable. It is inevitable. I really hope you guys can walk away today really feeling the truth of what I'm saying there. It's not if. It's not an if. It's a how. It's not if the change is going to happen. It's how is the change going to happen? How is this going to unfold? Because it's absolutely inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. And yes, we can all choose our roles to play, whatever pleases our ego driver. Whatever pleases our ego driver. Maybe we want to be an artist for this time. Maybe we want to wander around and live in campsites for this time. Maybe we want to double down and open up a business. Maybe we want to check out of the world and go into a, you know, whatever. We get to choose that. And there's no right, wrong in the choosing. There's no getting it right. There's no getting it wrong. It's all about learning how to surf the truth of your authenticity. How do you surf that while engaging in this world? And that inner compass that you cultivate while you're asking yourself those questions is going to really guide you to the community that's truly harmonic with you. And the more you bring yourself into a community that is truly harmonic with you, healing really accelerates in so many ways. The interactions, the ease, the grace, the beauty, right? The connectedness helps us relax inside of ourselves, grow in our connection with self. It's so supportive. So I'm willing to bet that this year is probably going to bring a lot of coming togethers and falling aways of communities. Now, it's not saying that every community, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying is that if your connections are truly integral, if your connections are actually authentic connections that are true to your path and purpose, y'all are going to persevere wonderfully. You'll probably get even stronger during this time. The things that are up for destruction right now are the things that are not in alignment with your truth, that are not in alignment with your authenticity, that perhaps you've been blind to, you've been lost in the illusion of. That is what's falling up. That's what's falling over. So it's hard, but we're here. We're going to do this. All right, dear sister, Felicia has something to say. She says, I feel you're right. However, some humans will not chase this. Hence, the Christians trying to save everyone. So what if some are left behind? Yes, be completely okay leaving people behind, because the fact that we think we're leaving behind, that is an ego driver construct. Just because their path isn't our path doesn't mean that they're not on their right path. Their path could be, wanting to go into a dark hole, not fall into a black hole and become obliterated. That could be their reason why they're here, to experience this life. Maybe they're here because they need to watch themselves disempower people under the cloak of trying to save them. Maybe that's their path. None of your business, none of my business, right? It's like, okay, yeah, that's not really me. So I'm going to go over here and be with those connections that feel really good and totally support me, set my soul on fire, set my heart's desire on fire, and every word out of my mouth that I see that's amazing about them sets them on fire. And here we are, a community completely ablaze. Woohoo! When I say blaze, you guys if you've ever had these experiences of being totally so liberated inside of yourself that it's like you can't even contain your joy, your gratitude, your elation. You can't contain it. You just feel so amazing, right? That's what it is to be ablaze. And during hard times, that might not be your full time, but you'll have, if you're really showing up, you'll be available for those moments when it can happen. You can be available for it in that moment for when it happens, right? Just because the next day or the next hour or whatever is different doesn't mean it was inauthentic. It just means that the next day and the next hour is offering a different experience. That's all it is. There's nothing personal going on here. The cosmos loves you. You are love. It's the inside is the outside, right? The inside is the outside is the inside. And you are not only surrounded by life force energy, the love, the river of love that is life force energy from which everything is created. You're surrounded by that. And internally, that is the truth of who you are. So we can allow these transmissions in to cut through all the other bullshit in between and just revisit that connection over and over and over again. I saw this clip. What time? Okay, yeah, I saw this clip. It was a woman shaming a crowd, telling them how dare they celebrate when there's all these people suffering and blah 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 blah, right? It's a great example of a guilt program. It's a program because that program is telling you you have no business being happy because there's someone else not happy, right? You have no business you should be ashamed for being grateful and happy because there's people in this world that are suffering and can't be happy, right? That's the program. You guys can feel the weight of it. Yuck. Ugh. So when stuff like that happens, it's up to us to find the way to rise to what is the real truth here. And from my own personal suffering, what I have found, that the more suffering there is that I've gone through, or that I'm with someone who's going through, the more worthwhile that celebration is, the more worthwhile that joke is, the more worthwhile that laugh and a smile is. You see? And humanity, as we do that, we are breaking free from generations of programming of guilt and shame. I mean, it's religious, but it's other things too. It's lots of other things, lots and lots of other things, right? So shine on, shine on, shine on. Each of you are here for a reason. You're here for these times. Thank you for being here for these times. Thank you for showing up in the ways that you know is the best for you and your world. Because the more authentic you are in that, those ripple effects go out and it comes back to you tenfold. So the more beauty you make, the more beauty comes back to you tenfold. You see? So, my gosh, time flies so fast. So I want to invite you guys into, if you want to try what it is to be in a harmonic community. Our community is online, but we meet and have a lot of connective types of experiences through our sharing of our data sets and our tracking, but also our sharing and how we perceive things and dream time and stuff like this. So we have a wonderful, wonderful bonded community if you want to see how you fit into something like that. And you can, just visit for, just a one-time thing. You can come to one of our, some of our free stuff. You can also come to, an individual class, like our energy mastery class. This is where we do practices and techniques to build a strong energy field, to prepare you to be able to start navigating dream time, to, really activate your higher levels of consciousness and integrate them into your life, stuff like this. And that is the entry. That's one of the classes that's part of the essentials, the overall essentials program. So Energy Mastery is the first Sunday of the month. I encourage you guys to check it out. This month is going to be very special because we are we are practicing and exploring what it is to pull your life force energy away. Life force energy. So that can be soul, essence, emotions, mental, life force. It's any level of your human condition, any level of your energy. We are focusing on practicing and experiencing pulling our life force energy out of electronics. Now imagine how electronically engaged you are, right? The light and the electronics are definitely engaged with you, because the light comes out, it comes into your eyes, makes a translation in your brain and goes to your occipital lobe. So the light is literally going into you, right? We know that blue light has mind control properties to it. This is partially why they are in the spectrum that they are, is because it's hypnotizing, and there's suggestions that can be made once you're hypnotized, all that stuff. So as you pull your energy, so there's that coming in, and there's also your energy going out. So as you pull your energy back from that more and more and more, what's shocking is that it goes far beyond terrestrial technology, but I won't do a spoiler on that. There's so much more, because it's going to be adventure, and that's what they're going to do this Sunday. So if this is something that's interesting for you to experience, what that is, I encourage you guys to look at our energy mastery class on our schedule. You can go to our website, lightbodyacademy.com, and go to events. And there's a calendar that has our free stuff on it. And then there's another calendar that has our classes on it. So it's the energy mastery class that you're looking for if you want to play around and see how engaged is your life force energy in the digital world. And then you'll also experiment and play with and learn how to pull it all back, how to extract yourself from the digital realm. Now, this is a rabbit hole that I'm talking about with the digital world, because there's also duplicates and all this other stuff, but that's a whole nother game to be talking about. But it is connected. So you learn how to pull your energy out of the electrical realm. You're going to also know how to close down the connections with the duplicates. Did you know that social media has over 7 million data points on you? 7 million, more than 7 million data points about you. Now they plug all that 7 million data points into an AI. How accurate do you think that report is going to be about you? Probably right down to your favorite toothpaste. I'm serious. Your favorite toothpaste, your favorite color, what kind of cars you like, where you like to visit, what you like to eat, who you like to talk to, what you like to talk about. Right? There's a lot there, guys. All right. I'm going to leave that last part up to your imagination. I encourage you guys to check out that class at the top. It's at the beginning of the month on Sunday. How to pull your life force energy out of the electrical realm, and then see where that takes your awareness on an interdimensional level. Love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. It's a great honor to have your attention for so long. And until next time, I hope you guys make it a great week. Bye-bye.